Hello, fellow builders, and welcome back to the bench. Who am I? Well, I'm the mediocre modeler. Says so right here on my church. Hello, fellow builders, and welcome back to the bench. Who am I? Well, I'm the mediocre modeler. I know that because it says so on my shirt. Well, if I'm the mediocre modeler, then that must mean it must be time to go build something. So let's get to it. Yes, fellow builders, we are back on our Battlestar Galactica Launch Bay build. If you remember, part one was more about infrastructure. It was about getting the base of the launch bay put together, getting our doors put on, and trying to find some color matching to give us a nice place to start. That's the nice thing about this kit. It's the start of what you want it to be, because it's just an empty launch bay. It's in 1/72nd scale, and we're going to fill it out. We're going to use the Mobius 72nd scale Viper kits. I've got a couple of these, and at the request of my buddy New York Pete, he wants a Mark 1 in there. So I'm going to see if I can find a Mark 1 Galactica, original Galactica that I can 3D print to put in there. That looks good. I had a couple other ideas, but the main thing we're kind of focusing on is filling out the space to make it look like a real space, and also shoring up a couple of pieces. So we gotta kind of go on a greebly hunt. So, the greebly hunt. Before I start, I always like to try and get everything kind of placed a little bit where I want it before I start finding things that I need to put into place. I only had a few things in 1/72nd scale. I try and keep that stuff sorted by scale when I finish a model, so I always know everything in there is in that scale. And I really wasn't finding that much stuff. What I just set down there first was a couple little fuel tanks from an armor kit, and I think they were 1/32nd scale anyway. But this kit is a field artillery kit or whatever, and so what it did have that I really wanted to use was some 55-gallon drums. So I've already got those painted and put together. It was a two-piece deal, so I got them put together and painted, and now I'm cutting them out so I can kind of place them around the model where I think they should go. On the other end of that are some crates that I will probably be using as well. You can see it's the bottom half of the crate and the lids. But I think I really needed to address the support. As you can see, when I pulled those two pieces out, that beam kind of bent to the side. So I used some polystyrene I-beams that I had that I felt looked the right size. Cut them to the right width so it would sit aligned with the other ones, and to support it on the back so it would have the right height. Now on to the actual greebly hunt. I have the glove on because I've already taken the other two pieces out and they're drying with paint. But again, this is where part of the process that you don't normally get to see. I've just got different things sorted together. As you can see, I don't throw anything away. If I complete a model and there are extra parts that were for a different configuration of that kit, I snip them off and they go into a little bin for future use. Because you never know. You never know when you're going to need a greebly. So, here we go. After going through all my little bins and boxes and little hidey holes for all my extra parts or greeblies or whatever, I found that I didn't have anything really in the 70-second scale. So what do? You go to the internet, which I did. And I stumbled across a really cool website. It's called Cosmic Scale Models. And this guy pretty much had everything that I needed. So here we are. Go over to shop. Clicked on our 1/72 scale stuff. And so there's a kit here, a Galactica kit. It's not the same as mine, but look at this. They got a land ram. They got 3 versions of the land ram on there. And so what you can do, what I did, so one thing I picked up was the kit that had the engine hoist and toolbox with the ladder. And then you also I picked up the secondary kit that has the little cryo chamber and some extra greebly bits there. Also picked up some storage containers, and there was one that had a bunch of crew people in 1/72 scale. But yeah, this one. Because I wanted to have, I've got that catwalk, so I wanted people up on the catwalk. I wanted to have people walking around this thing. So he's in England. That's the problem. I really can't do too much else to this kit until those parts come in. But the other thing I found while I was looking on the internet was when I pulled this kit out of the box, I couldn't find the canopy, and I did run across it, and it's just a regular clear plastic canopy. But what I ended up doing was the canopy has the edges are chromed, and I could get out my tiny paintbrush, my tiny paintbrush, and I've got some chrome silver paint, and I could mask it off, paint those on there, and it would look fine. Hopefully. Might have to do a little bit of cleanup, but what I ran across was these chrome markers, and I was really interested. I'm like, I don't know if these work, how well these are going to work, and if you're really going to get a chrome finish off of it. And I'm here to tell you, that looks, let's see, it's not going to autofocus. But you can see the chrome on that. And that's just with the marker. It's got a 7mm tip, and you shake it up like you normally do, and you push down the tip to get the chrome flowing, and then you just lightly pencil it on and let it dry, and that's what you get. So I'm very happy with the way that came out. So I mean, what you can use this for, anything chrome, your automotive car door handles, or the trim around your windows, or you name it. Anything that you dread pulling out that tiny paintbrush and trying to hold your breath and hold still, and that solves a lot of your problems. But that leaves us with a problem with what are we going to do with the rest of our time? What indeed?
Danger, mediocre modeler getting off track. Danger.
So did you catch it? I was about to go squirrel. I wish I could say it was a rare event, but it's not. I can't do exactly what I want to get done. And so I'm like, well, in the meantime, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And that was a close one. You don't think so? See that right there? Right there. That right there is the Battlestar Pegasus kit. I went, pulled it out, opened it up, started going through the parts, and actually spent 20 minutes looking at the paints to see if I had the paint that I wanted to paint it. And there are still parts to this one that need to get done. So we're going to stay on track. We're going to stay on focus. We're going to, because there's stuff over there that we need to get done. So let's go back over there. Okay. First things first. Let's flip you guys around 180 degrees so we can work on this. There's the catwalk. We're going to set you right there. Alright, so what we got to begin with is this guy we're going to deal with. Let's put him off. We got our glue. Yeah, we got our glue, and we got our that, and we got our beams. So basically what we do, oh, Kelvin, you know what, maybe we do it. We're gonna have to, okay. You know what, we'll be okay, we'll be okay. No, we won't. Ah! Okay. Went outside, spritzed it a little bit. Paint. We'll just put a little bit of low heat on it to get it dry. Good enough. Okay. Alright, so this piece has to go in first. So what I'm doing, I'm putting it in here. Maybe not. Let's see. So it has to come up and then it has to be moved over. Let's see if we do that up first. Ah, that's what we're gonna do. Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna glue this piece to that piece first. But just the top of it, so we get the height. Get it in place, get it lined up. Alright, so it's good. We can still move it side to side, right? So that's good. It's on there. Alright? So now, we need to get this guy where we want it. Now the reason I'm putting this in right about there. I want this to be like a repair bay because there's a hatchway here. There's nothing right there in front of it. So my plan is to put a distressed Viper there. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark it, lightly mark it with a pencil so we can erase it later, but we know exactly where we want it. Alright, cool. That way we can glue it. Glue it in, boys. Okay, now that that's right where we want it, I'm going to just slightly lift our foot up here. So this is a leg from an ATST. And I like it because it's got that angle to it. And it looks like a winch of some sort. So I was going to maybe remove this part and have it sitting. Yeah. Actually, not right in the center, because if we have it in the center and we have our model there, you can't see it, but we'll have it off to the side. Yeah. So what we're gonna do, take our hobby saw. Alright, let's take it apart. We're gonna cut this excess off. We want to cut it right along that angle. So let's see. Could have done this the first time. There we go. Oops. So we are making this up as we go. Okay, alright. I like that. I really like that. Perfect. Okay. So this is what I got. This piece, like I said, is an actual I-beam. And so what I've done, cut this little piece of plastic that sits inside of there, so I can glue that to this, so it gives both of these two pieces something to grab onto. So now all I have to do is decide whether or not to put some kind of, actually that's not even a question, I need to find a greebly or something to put on the end of that to make it look like it's some kind of grabber or winch or something. So when you're on a greebly hunt, you would think that anything is fair game. So this is a piece that my son didn't use off of one of his Gundam models, and there's a little pilot, and that guy looks to be about the right size. So we're going to snip him off and keep him with this kit. If nothing, he can be maybe that's boxy. Don't know. So we're going to put that with our keep stuff, right? So, an example of stuff that I won't take. Now, this is the landing gear of a model. This is the landing gear from, I can't remember. I painted it purple, so anywho, the reason I'm not going to use this is because I've got a complete set of landing gear. It's got to be a Viper. There are only 3 pieces there. It's got to be a Viper. But you've got all 3 legs and all 3 feet. Well, that's something that I could use for another kit. So this goes back in the box. This goes in the do not use right now. Now, this is another piece from a Gundam model. Those 2 pieces go together, and I'm sure that's a gun. Don't know what that piece is. But this piece right here, which I do also believe is a gun, it might go real good on the end of our piece. So we're going to set this aside as a maybe. I was going through some other models and I forgot that I had this guy. I actually built another launch bay, and it was it was kind of a combination launch bay because there was some Star Wars stuff in there and Battlestar Galactica. There was just kind of some Star Trek stuff. It was kind of a hodgepodge of 70-second scale stuff. But I had gotten this Raptor kit, and so I grabbed it to put it in with the launch bay. And as luck would have it, I found a 70-second scale classic Viper that I could make to put in the kit. Also, as luck would have it, since I needed to sit in the launch bay, remember these guys? We were just looking at, and I was trying to figure out, and this ended up being A-wing landing gear. It is perfectly scaled to fit underneath this Viper. So let's take a look at where we got now. Okay, so here is the launch bay, and here is our winch that we just added in. Right here, let's see if we can zoom in there. There's a hatch there that we added. The other hatch is right inside here. So what my plan was to, in this corner, this is, sometimes if you can't find a greebly, you have to make one. So what this particular barrel is a section of the International Space Station kit that it was a part of here, and it was attached on one of these ends, and I glued it together, and that end there is part of the landing foot for the Millennium Falcon. So that is going to be some kind of a tank that sits there. Alright, in that little corner we have some piping that we can use to attach the two together. And I was going to make a set of stairs that go, that way you could walk by and go up the stairs to get to the catwalk. Otherwise, there's no way to get up there. But maybe I'm being a little bit too technical. I still have the 55-gallon drums that I can set around here. But I need to stop here because I still have all the accessories that are coming from the cosmic scale models from England. I really need to stop working and messing with the launch bay until I get the rest of the pieces in, because I will just tinker with it, and then I'll get all the new stuff in and want to add it in there, and there won't be any place to put it. I don't want it to be so busy that you can't really pick out some of the shining bits in there. Like I said, it's a good start, and we don't want to mess it up. I think at this point, it's time for you to think about going and building something of your own. It'll be probably 2 or 3 weeks before I get this stuff in there, and there's so many projects we could do in that time. I might just get on that Galactica kit. And there's also still, we need to finish up our review of Obi-Wan Kenobi over on Media and More. But there's plenty of time. But until we meet again, have fun, be safe, and go build something.
pew 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 pew.